Let's see here. Okay, everything looks to be going good. Everything looks to be going great, in all honesty. Whoop-de-doo! Hello, everybody! Welcome, to a very fun, interesting stream, in all honesty. Look, some stuff happened last minute with Emnod. Unintentionally, I will say. Unintentional stuff has happened with some Emnod stuff today. So we're going to be kind of doing something a little bit odd that I'm going to be honest, meaning to do for around about like 5 episodes or something like that, since how long ago was the last recap? Basically, let me see here. Something like, what was it? What was the last recap? Where is it? Yeah, since episode 15 was the last recap, and we're on session 30 now. Yeah, a lot has happened. There's basically been about as much time as went into the first 2 recaps, or sorry. We haven't recapped since episode 20, that's what it is. Yeah, so there's been about as many episodes that haven't been recapped as there were in the first recap, plus a bit. So, yeah, no. I've been thinking, first off, the series needs a little bit of a recap for everybody to kind of get some catch up on some things, and also, just, you know, everybody should probably, you know, get in the know about some things that I think are being a bit confusing or a bit question mark, or, you know, I want to answer some questions as well today, and I am going to add to this by saying there is high probability that I might say some things that state lore, basically, and also because I just realized I should probably grab something real quick and, you know, make sure we're, you know, actually having the Discord go through with it. For looking back on / watching right now. Anyways, so, first off, Q&A. Basically, anything's gonna be on the table. I will answer as best as I can, reasonably, within the logic, assuming that, you know, Discord members show up, or, you know, some people do show up, because I do know that there are some people who do have some pretty intense questions about this, including a couple of lore gremlins that have been, you know, within the channel's history, cough cough, looking at Wolf Doge. And additionally, like, I'm probably gonna give some hints, as always. When I do these recaps, I tend to give a little bit of hints towards some things, and some things that I would just like to call out that I think need looked at in terms of things. I'm gonna be putting them down here as I can, as best as I can, if there's something that I can. This is just where we left off last session, basically. Also, if the music is too loud, somebody is welcome to say that whenever we get into chat. So, in terms of, recap-wise, though, yeah, I intend to cover the entire series. There's a lot of stuff, and sometimes I think the recap needs a recap for the recap. So, let's start simply, with, don't mind me as I pull up some images to just remind me of everything that was going on at the time. I find that, me looking at my past images is the best way for me to remember everything that we've gone through, basically. Alrighty, so yeah, session 0. we got introduced to our wonderful, wonderful cast of people here. Lillian, being played by Tem, Malrak, who's played by Undefined Toaster, or Alec, as you may have heard him referred to in the stream. Iliad, which is played by Luna, or Deadmoth, as you've also heard in the stream, and Ercole, who is played by Patches. However, Patches has been unavailable for the longest period of time, so Ercole basically is played by Alec, or Toaster. And with Ercole, we have Bad Apple, who is basically his JoJo stand, because God, I love what I have done with M.Dot as a series. Alec is basically our champion strategy game player. However, I do know that Tem has the capabilities to play these games really well. She just doesn't do combat that often, which is why she's playing a healer right now. But I will say this whole team is really freaking good at M.Dot. Like, we've played a lot of campaigns together, and no, genuinely, there are some plays I have seen from these guys, even in this campaign, that I kind of have to stare at and think about. How the frick do I react to this sometimes? Because they've pulled some insane stuff, and yeah, they good basically. So I just want to say that to add to the statement that when Depths of the Blighted Heart comes out as a campaign for people to play with M.Dot Digital, and I'll talk about some M.Dot related stuff in a second, just when I'm done with this. I entirely expect people to say that Depths of the Blighted Heart is really hard. And that is kind of part of the intention of the game, is it is meant to be kind of hard. It is not meant to be easy. And I just know that a certain somebody, Luna here, likes to say that I make Dark Souls out of strategy games, and yeah, somewhat. There are plenty of moves that I do that I know are bad. And I know that there are plenty of people within the SRPG community that have said, you know, like, dude, you suck at playing these games. And I'm like, yeah, well, it's fun. Anyways, so, M.Dot wise, yeah, M.Dot is a strategy RPG tabletop RPG, or strategy tabletop RPG. I can word in a correct direction, basically. There are words that I can word. But yeah, M.Dot is a strategy tabletop RPG that uses a D100 roll highest system, meaning it's very akin to D&D, but it uses a D100 instead of a D20. And its major focus is on the strategic gameplay elements of it. It is not something that you can just kind of make a solid solution and go with it. You kind of have to come up with a few solutions on the fly and figure some stuff out, and, you know, there's strategy behind everything and every character within the game. And that's the other thing M.Dot is focused on, is providing a multitude and a major variety within tabletop gaming, because D&D has a very, very closed off system in terms of how much is available within it. And M.Dot's main goal is to provide as many options to its players as possible for their characters, their way of writing their stories, and their way of playing the game, basically. So, the campaign we're covering is obviously one of those campaigns, and yeah, Depths of the Blighted Heart is the main series that I've been doing for, what, 2 years now on this channel. We're 30 sessions in, which is a little bit sad to me. I wish we could be further along, but yeah, no. Anyways, that is our characters. Oh yeah, I should probably say, Tem is playing our healer character. She's technically playing a bishop class, I believe. Let me see here. I need to pull up the actual stuff. That's the wrong tab. Where is it? Was it there? No, it's not there. And now I'm going to be... There it is. There it is. There it is. Yeah. Yeah, Tem is playing... Oh, sorry. Tem is playing Cardinal right now. Bishop's Evolution, basically, or Prestige. Malrak is currently playing Silent, which is a Poison Master, or a Poison class, basically. Josh is playing Patches, or Josh, whatever. Both names are valid, as we know. Is playing the Grand Cavalier, basically the make your own class type class. And Luna here is playing a Blood Beast, which is just a fun, prestige version of the Abomination, basically. So, yeah. They started as all those ones that I mentioned they prestige from, but yeah, there's our group basically, and if you want a technical class for Bad Apple, it is Armistice, but that is some weird lore that I don't need to mention really to anybody at all. Alrighty, so session 1. Session 1 was session 1 was sort of the introductory session. Introduced the town of Umal, and it introduced basically the entire cast, why they were here, within the fact that all of the characters that weren't, already within the town were basically invited here as part of a research/adventuring committee to handle some problems that the town had been noticing within the mine shaft that had been abandoned roughly, I want to say, a year or two prior. I don't remember exactly what I said from the first episode, but know that statement does still apply. And the two members that weren't from town, which were Urkole and Lillian, basically were hired on for their sort of acts in other places as mercenaries, whereas these two right here, Malrak has been trying to basically get back into the mine since it closed down because he was once a worker there, and basically kind of functions as the guide for the party, is the person who's been in this area before but hasn't really hasn't been there in a while, and also because he's like an alchemist who's messed with some weird materials, it's not like he remembers much anyways. And Iliad is sort of the town's hermit that's always lived on the outskirts and basically been an outcast, but was in immense need of some money, and I should probably pull Iliad's human form over here and use human form Iliad before, the funniness. But yeah, we have beast mode Iliad and human mode Iliad. That doesn't matter. So with that, the group would basically make their way into the abandoned mines as of session 2, in which they would discover the sort of blight that had taken over the place, and was infecting all of the old inhabitants, some sort of like ghostly versions of the blight, if I can word, floating around within the mines, inhabited slimes that were all ill with this weird blighted goop, and a whole bunch of other stuff that were all basically fighting through the old abandoned mines. And as they approached the bottom of the mining pit, they found, first off, some notes about some stuff that's been happening in the area, and some other things that had occurred. However, as they head down, they find what had caused the closing of the mines in the first place, which is this giant stone door that they had sort of found like an outcropping of, and it basically like opened up as they had dug down into the cave. As they kind of revealed this, or once they had fully like revealed this door, the blight kind of surged from it, kind of naturalizing the entire bottom of the abandoned mines. And actually, I can show some visuals right here. I should be using, I have access to visuals, I should use them. Yeah, kind of, God, my old drawings sucked on this. It's because I was still getting used to some stuff with this. It's funny, I've ran a few campaigns on this, and the difference between this and this is massive, and yeah, we prefer new stuff. This will be a touch-up eventually. It's because I also wanted to be able to show all of the tiling, but I've learned a better way to do that now, because this sucks. Anyways, as I've said, basically some gigantic vines like grew out of the door and sort of forcibly naturalized the bottom of the cave with some plant growth, and as it did, it grew the orange pustules that basically carried the blight into the place. And everybody who was within the mines at the time has either died, got so ill they weren't able to they weren't able to function and then inevitably died, or are named Malrak and only basically survived because he wasn't there the day stuff happened. Yeah, returning into this place, I will say there has been some concern of sickness for these guys that I have secretly mentioned to myself that I don't think anybody else has mentioned. But, you know, they get into here, they fight the giant slime that was basically the introductory mini-boss to the campaign. And then when they open into the door, or when they open the door, they find this massive stone staircase that leads a couple of miles deep into the earth. Like, I'm talking insanely deep into the earth. It's a hand-quarried mess of stairs and, you know, this fresh scent of what seems to be like really fresh air, like you just popped open a terrarium basically. And yeah, they dive down pretty far into the earth as they do this. And going into session 3, they meet with the ghost of our probably most important character of the campaign, which is Amnesia Boy. And I'm kind of shaking Lillian here because Amnesia Boy is attached to Lillian as a character. He doesn't get his own character piece, by the way, on the game board, and you'll understand why when we get to that point with session 6, but yeah, no. The group the group as they head into this opening finds this giant blue, this giant blue goat man is the best way to put it, which has outcroppings of fur that are both Veryl fur and Fremnite origin, Veryl fur and Fremnite being other races within the DoD world. However, the Goat Man is unknown to the group. They do not know the race of the goat part of our amnesia boy, and are very confused by, well, just the sort of hodgepodginess of his looks. One important note about Amnesia Boy is he always speaks in threes, meaning when he says a sentence, he always follows it by another sentence and then another sentence. All three of which basically mean the same thing, just different takes on the same wording. That is very important to his lore, and it's a concept that nobody has really pointed to exactly, however, I think is somewhat understood by the community, just hasn't been exactly, like, looked into as to a sort of why, I guess. But yeah, they meet with him, they kind of ask him what's going on here. He basically says that he has no idea what the hell is going on and that he just woke up here not too long ago. And then tries to show them around a bit, and then disappears as soon as they take their eyes off of him. Which was a very interesting moment, to put it simply. The group kind of all looked at each other and like, what the frick? There's a ghost amongst us? How does this work? You know, what are we doing? Excuse me, what? Yeah. Huge stuff happens with that one. And as Goatman disappears, the group kind of decides they would like to explore and, you know, figure out what's going on here. Sessions 4 and 5, at least the early half of 5, if I remember correctly, are all both within the same vein of the group kind of making their way through the plains biome within the as my brain entirely crashes, within the cave. Oh yeah, also that's an important part of Session 3 that I missed. Session 3 is when they get the cover, or the binding for the book with a heart on its cover, which is this important collectible piece that has basically remained very important for the entire campaign. I will say, because, yeah. Let me see if I can do something here. I'm curious if this is going to work. I have a funny idea. I don't believe you guys can see that. Yeah, you can't see that. Okay, good. Actually, need to make sure that stays up. Let me see if this will work, because if this does work, this is going to be a great piece for how I can showcase some stuff in the future and how I can actually make these collectible items. That should probably be Cloud, actually. Now that I think about it. Yeah, hang on. Sorry, I'm stupid and dumb sometimes. Open Cloud. Yep, upload. Oh, that actually works amazing if that works like this. Because I can just do the 2 pages together. Yep. I think it works. Oh my god, it works. That's funny. Okay, so yeah, no. I guess this is a change that I will be implementing relatively soon. I did not realize I could do that, actually. That's huge. So yeah, they find themselves, they basically find themselves down here at the bottom of the plains. And start searching around. Over here they find this massive mud pit, basically, that's full of boiling mud, that's hard to get through. They find a giant rock over here that has some cracks in it, and they find a vine wall over here that is basically basically impassable with how thick it is. And we'll talk about the rest of this stuff, and in fact, I might actually work on uploading the entire book as we get into here, because this will actually help with more discussion, and also sets me some stuff that I can do for everybody else. But yeah, as they make their way down this way, they find a few pages of the book, this page included. Let me see here, because I know they find this one, and they also find this one as well, which I need to remember which one those two are. I think I know which one those two are, but yeah, no. Hang on. This is... yeah, if I do this, and then just grab this... this is why we don't do impromptu recaps, everybody. Do they find... oh, I'm curious. Well, regardless, I mean, they do find these two inevitably. And that one, and this one right here. Do that one real quick, and then the other one that I know they find relatively around this time is this one that I also need to get up. Again, sorry, I know that this is annoying. Normally I like to have these prepared, but we're doing impromptu recap today because, gosh darn it, we need MDOD. Alrighty, and this one. Were the important ones. Alrighty. So yeah, while they're kind of making their treks, that one needs to flip back over. Which one of you wasn't there? Because I know it was one of you that wasn't there. I think this one was the one that wasn't there, because this one's the one that was in the village, I believe. Yeah. So they initially find these two, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong, it might be this one and this one, but you know. They find these two in the places detailed on this little mini map right here, as they're heading up towards this central area. And as they approach around here, they find this gate to a giant walled-off village in the center of the plains, with two golems, one made of bronze and one made of silver, blocking the way. The golems challenge the members. They have this pretty nice epic little mini fight where the golems are practically throwing the party members around, and you know, everybody's just wailing on each other as best as they can. And then inevitably, after they pass the golems test, the golems let them into the village on the sole purpose that they help with all the events that are, or that they help with what is going on within the village. As they enter into the village, we go into session 6, basically, wherein the group meets with the mayor of the town, and everybody gets a bit confused because there's some weird record player speech that the people are using that they have zero understanding of. However, with some fun little charades and stuff, they're able to figure out that the mayor of the town basically is offering a room in the village to them, and then also requesting that they help handle, or that they look into the stuff related to the ghost that they had seen, because he is important to them for some weird reason, and that they go check out the church within the clock tower. The clock tower church is where they meet Icarus, the sort of guardian of the old guardian of the church, which is basically this metallic angel. I want to say also might be Gollum as well. Nobody's really questioned Icarus that much, but yeah, no, basically bronze automaton that is built with a sort of steam vent in his chest, which basically is what the entire fight was built around. They fight Icarus with all of his metal angel fun stuff that he was doing. And after defeating Icarus and putting him to rest, they are able to approach the statue within the clock tower. And you know what, I can also show this. I need to remember that I have the ability to show stuff. I don't need to just tell stuff, I can show stuff. Yeah, this. The Icarus fight, right here. Icarus was big. Already you can see I improved massively with the map making from the first one. But yeah, this was the giant statue I was talking about. This is the fight area that they were fighting in. This was not an easy fight. Everybody was like, what the frick are you doing to us, man? But yeah, they were able to finally approach this statue, and as they did, they kind of felt this immense sense of nostalgia and like importance amongst it, as the statue was holding basically this giant shiny orb ball, and when Lillian reaches out to touch it, and the ball kind of dissipates its shine as she does, our amnesia boy appears right beside her, and a ring has appeared on her finger, basically signifying that, you know, the ring of binding has been, you know, given to Lillian, which basically binds Amnesia Boy into this realm, keeping him present around the group. They of course obviously talk about some stuff, get confused, and then as they try to leave the tower, give me a second as I'm now like, do I dare read all the memories that we get to have today? Probably not going to. However, do note that some of the memories, well, I can reread some of the rewritten memories at least, because they're important. Where's that one? Where's that one? Where's that one? Yeah. So, as the group left the tower, Lillian's eyes shifted and transferred to view a piece of the old world before, and she views a time in which the cave was very dark, but her eyes seem to work well enough here to manage the stone and wood that she had packed down here earlier. This is according to her memory, by the way. The work that she is doing is backbreakingly painful, tiring, long, and exhausting, especially with how much there is. But she had somehow convinced some others to help set up this place for some sort of grand design, and those others need a home, a new home of some kind here. A sense of pride filled her mind, considering what she had already done, yet that little bit of worry and confusion was worrisome. Sure, they were her friends, but you were still learning about your purpose, or about her purpose here. Sorry. I'm trying to reread it with, external pronouns. You know what? Who cares? I'll just read it as written. It doesn't matter. But you were still learning about your own purpose here, still listening to the call of Deary. This is a name that's important, by the way, is Deary. People still are very confused about Deary, Theron, and Noonal. Still wondering how there were voices that sounded like your own, speaking across the waves of the universe, speaking of Theron and Noonal, telling them the same things. Speaking with them and realizing there's so much of a difference between you that you'd like to connect. As the memory ends, you feel a sense of pride emanating from your new friend from the ring, and begin to understand some of the soft smiles that each of the village people have. So that was the memory that occurred as they left the tower. It's very important. It does tell a lot about some things, but basically, as Lillian has been walking around and has found some important stuff with the rest of the group members, occasionally Lillian is going to get flooded with some memories from Amnesia Boy, hence the name Amnesia Boy, and they are going to basically remember some stuff about the past that has happened here. And it is these, past events and memories that help shape the major understanding of basically our lore, and what has happened within this cave, basically. Bleh. Dear God, this has been going on for a very long time. Again, feel free to stop me and ask questions if necessary. I'm willing to talk. Sorry. Drink of water. Anyways, yeah, after this, the group kind of collects themselves, works on gathering some things, and makes their way down into the Bramble Well, which is here on the world map. So they started here, they went all the way to there, and then they went through this little hole in the bottom right-hand side of the village into the Bramble Well. Yeah, let's just stack this up real quick. Yeah, I'm not kidding. Well, that's the one reason why I don't do that. I need to make sure that Shuffle Lock is enabled on this. Or some sort of Shuffle Lock is enabled on this, because otherwise this is going to be the mess that everybody is commenting on, about how you can't look at the book without the book, basically disorganizing itself. Yeah, no, I'm surprised I didn't think about this earlier. This is something I should have thought of earlier with how everything works. Yeah, give me one. Well, actually, let's pull up a few things real quick, because I should probably be doing it for both of the places we've been, or just the places we've been as we go through them. Let me see here. Clone, doot. Yeah, need this one, which is that one, and then this one, which is I know. Give me a second. Yeah, so this is the village, as they see. They walk in through here, they kind of meet with the mayor here. Their room is up here. I'm also going to quickly swap to black so that you can see me as I'm pointing some stuff out. Yeah, they swap to here. And the clock tower is up here, which is where they get the ring of binding. that is, you know, within the thing that Icarus is guarding. The Clock Tower Church, by the way, I should add, has 13 statues within it, 12 of which are other people, basically surrounding a fully goat version of what looks to be our Amnesia Man, which is the best way I can say that without spoiling some things. So if you want more information on that, sorry, ask some questions, or and I'll give the best answers I can without spoiling too much. But then, yeah, they go into, hang on, as I pull this up. We love how on the fly I'm basically setting up stuff for future sessions. Yeah, no, I wish I had thought about this before, because this is huge, actually. Alrighty, so yeah, no. They inevitably, once they get done within the village, make their way into the Bramble Well. Which those vine growths that I had mentioned earlier basically originate from here. They are growing massively throughout the place. They originally start up here and make their way down the walk paths. Sorry, I have to draw the line basically as I'm doing this. They head down the walk paths that are here to the bottom of the Bramble Well, where they find a missing toy from one of the village children, take it all the way back up, and then the village child then shows them this page that we've got here, which was hidden in the little play area in the center of the town. Once they've done that and they found that map, they're like, oh, okay, head back down. They find this map on their path down. It was like here-ish or something, I believe. Yeah, right there. And then as they head back into this area, they basically are forced to walk around this giant, massive bend throughout the entirety of the Bramble Well, because all the bramble growths have basically messed things up in such a way that there is, no one easy path through. And they find, first off, a few statues of a woman, Thurundi, pointing to a few different things. I forgot to mention the name of the goat people. Wow. Anyways, that's something we'll figure out in a minute anyways. But yeah, as the group kind of makes their way through, they, find some statues of the goat people pointing in a direction which, when followed, seem to point towards a treasure chest. And they also find a giant stone plinth with a dead, rotting ogre on top of, that, when approached, basically reanimated itself with the blight. After they had killed off the ogre, Lillian and Goat Boy, it's okay, Wolf Doge, we're talking lore right now. I'm covering some stuff that has been mentioned in the past. We're recapping recap still right now. Yes, anyways. As they made their way through the Bramble Well and fought this ogre that had reanimated themselves, Lillian and Goat Boy, specifically Lillian and Goat Boy, by the way, hear this sort of dark eminence radiating off of the plinth, however are unable to do anything currently with it. I will mention there is another one that has shown up over here. They had another instance of that dark eminence radiating out. nobody has talked about this. I genuinely think it is something that is sat too quietly. That the what's it called? The Call of the Void, I believe, is what it is. Yeah, nobody has really been talking, I think, about where is it? Yeah, the Call of the Void. Nobody has mentioned the Call of the Void. It is very important to the lore. It is very important to the lore. Why that is. On the plinth as well, is this very, like, cryptic message, that mentions, that those who have come here, will pay for the sins that the past has wrought, basically. That there is some sort of sin that needs to be atoned for something to be made right in the world. After that, they make their way up to here, and meet with, Marissa, the nymph of the blade, which is this absolutely insane fight. The best way to put it is it was... yeah. Marissa is... Where is Bramblewell? Should be here. Where's Marissa's fight? Yes, this one. Yeah, Marissa's... hang on, that's the wrong one. That's the wrong one. I want the one that has Marissa on it, actually. Where is that one? Where is that one? Why is it not here? It should be right here. Oh well, you know what? It doesn't matter. I can just use this. They meet Marissa. They meet Marissa, which is this nymph that is basically this protector of the Bramblewell. And as they talk with Marissa, they kind of realize that, like, hey, she's got some angst for Goat Boy for some weird reason, and Goat Boy is not very well liked by this person. Like, there is a revenge plot that is trying to occur here, where Marissa, or the nymph, wants to try and kill Goat Boy. It is effectively found out after they fight and win this, Marissa transforming into this horrific blighted beast as they do so. Marissa basically is killed and turns into dust as she charges Goat Boy and Lillian. Basically as her final act before just dispersing into nothingness. And then a memory is given to Lillian and Goat Boy, which basically is about how the fact that let me say some things here, because some people are going to get some more info out of this than I think they have in the past. Where basically Goat Boy remembers the time before the Blight, and a talk with Marissa that happened beforehand as a sort of goodbye to Marissa. Marissa was a Thurundi at this time, one of the goat people, as we know. And he's very much kind of cold to Marissa, kind of giving her the cold shoulder, but still that sort of friendliness to them, or to Marissa, as she deserves, basically, as one of his right-hand soldiers, basically. And before he leaves, he gives her the sword, the blade that cuts the heavens, basically, or cutting snip, as we all come to know it. And before he leaves, is forced to make a promise that he will come back and they will walk through this area again together, alive. And he doesn't innately promise that exactly. He kind of just promised that he will do what he must and that all will turn out well. And that Goatman's going to do the right thing. And that's all that he cares about. There's some further implications that I don't want to get into, unless people have kind of made the hints together. But do know the important part is that basically, the important part is these two are their relationship is very important to the campaign, actually. And it's why I chose to reveal it when I did. And the fact is that, I think people need to analyze maybe a teeny bit deeper on some of these memories, just from what is there. Again, I have been posting the memory scripts in the Discord now. It's part of the story that you are able to go review those scripts at any time. But yes, the real important thing is that their friendship, or whatever it may be, you know, basically had a rough ending to it that is shaped part of the importance of the story, going through all of this. With the new cutting snip, they're able to cut through the brambles and are able to make their way through a little bit of things. They do take a return journey back up to the village. Before, you know, returning, they find that second darkness event that I had mentioned. They find an entry off over here and, you know, clean the way so that they could go that way if they want to. They won't be, but they end up going this way, which we will talk about in a moment. But the other important thing is just beyond Marissa's battle area, they find a silver door imbued with the symbol of cutting snip and a sort of artistic rendition of Marissa in Thurundi form. This is important as well. Nobody has really nobody has talked about the silver doors. The silver doors are very important. The silver doors are undeniably very, very, very important. But yeah, they make their way up through this alternative route up here. They fight a little mini-boss right here and make their way back out, up this side, into the other half of the, God, this is a terrible thing. Into the other half of the plains over on this side. They kind of explore around in this area for a bit, are able to find some more little secrets and stuff around in here, including a bridge which goes across into here. However, the access lever to it is on the other side of the river. This is something people have forgotten about, that should be remembered. Cut their way through the vines that were here, and then obviously return back to the village. They do some preparations of some stuff, and, you know, get better equipped, basically, because they have been, that fight with Marissa basically left them bloodied, battled, scarred, yeah. And that, I believe, was relatively where Recap 1 ended off. We're almost an hour into the first thing, or how far in are we into this? Yeah, we're almost an hour into the stream, and I've only got through Recap 1. Any questions moving into that, through that? I'm recapping recap 1, and it takes me literally 3 times as long to do so. Dear God. Like I said, impromptu recap streams are wonderful. Yeah, any questions involving that at all from chat members? Since we do have a fair few here. Or at least a couple here. While I'm waiting for that, I might as well get some of the next pages started. Because, yeah, I wish I had thought about this earlier. Whoop-de-doo. Alrighty, well, anyways, like I said, after they find all of, that, or after they go through all of that stuff, they head back up to the village, and make some general improvements onto their gear, because, yeah, they need some improvements onto their gear, which is, basically what makes them so strong currently. These, by the way, are, some depictions of some of the monsters that they were fighting, in the Bramblewell, so you're aware. Let me see here as I pull up some more stuff. And after that, they make their way into the Redwood Forest. The Redwood Forest is basically this massive forest shadowed by, well, giant redwoods. However, what also is immensely interesting about the place is the fact that they find two of some of the world's rarest trees here, greater redwoods, which their giant roots basically formulate and shape the entire forest around here. And the cave as well basically is formed by these trees, basically. There's some growth in the upper levels, and also the above grounds redwood forest in this area is also basically implied to stem from these two giant redwood trees that basically grow through the earth here. Yeah, it's very... These two trees have some importance as well that isn't really covered on, that probably should get covered on. But, you know, it is as it is. People will continue to theorize about some of the stuff. But yeah, the group basically wanders around here, finds a depiction of a Thrundi man holding a spear, basically guarding some of the mushroom men that inhabit this place. Also, excuse me as I take another sip of water. Ah, God. There's a lot of stuff that I need to talk about. And then make their way down over to this wonderful mess. As I die over here. Which is the Retcher pit. They basically find this gigantic stone giant. Which is literally probably one of the most massive creatures they had ever seen. And as they, you know, as they work their way around this stone giant, trying to stay as stealthed as possible, being tiny little guys under this guy's giant, massive wake, they find this shining plant with a white orb right at the entryway to its pit. This orb, as they are able to find out, is the dewdrop of shaping, if I can word. And yeah, this dewdrop, when I put this here, like, some people saw it, nobody questioned it. Nobody's questioned the dewdrops, especially because, like, I've hovered over the names enough now. I will not state their names, because, you know, lore. But you're allowed to read them, basically. Nobody has really questioned the order, nobody's questioned the naming, nobody's questioned anything. It's just the fact that they're here. The dewdrop, as it was gathered, basically welled up on the ring. The ring has 4 slots on it, and this is the slot, basically, that the dewdrop went into, and has basically been, you know, sitting on since they found it. When they found it, it powered up Lillian's ring's abilities, so Goatman is now stronger by some amount, and yeah. They then, after, you know, nearly angering the Retcher, make their way out of there and basically run off, hoping not to get killed, and then go hide, and yeah. Also, while they're here, they find a few special maps. As you can see, one of them is, only one of them has been found, I believe, and it's this one. Yeah, they found this one. The others here, they haven't found. They have no idea where the others are. I kind of would like them to go back and find these, but, you know, or have somebody figure out where these ones are. And, you know, very fun to try and figure that one out, I will say. But, it can be found. All of those can be found right now. They just haven't been. But, yeah. And then, after they fight with the Retcher, they inevitably make their way around to the Shroomling village, and get trapped inside, which is where I believe, yeah, it's around there. That's where our last recap ended off, basically. Which is very funny because it took me forever to get everything set up, and now I just speed ran through in about 2 minutes everything that happened for... or no, sorry. That was where recap 3 ended off. Sorry, I forgot we've done 3 recaps so far. We've done 0 through 7, 8 through 15, and 15 through and 16 through 20. Yeah. And that even covered some of the stuff that we hadn't seen yet in some of the recaps as well. Yeah, wow. That covered the Retcher pit as well. Yeah. Anyways, so yeah. Speed ran through recap 3 right there, and technically recaps 1 and 2 were the prior one that I had mentioned there. Any questions towards anything at all right there? Again, I'm gonna stop and pause for questions as my throat kind of gets me a bit upsetty. I stayed up way too late writing music, which by the way is what you're listening to right now, because I as much as this is part of the boss music, I am not letting this go unlistened to. You guys are getting boss music early because of the recap. Alrighty, I guess not then. Everybody's being quiet. Nobody has questions. I see people in the chat. I know they're there. I'm like, where's my questions, guys? I offer answers to so many things, and everybody just sits quietly. It's kind of weird. I'm gonna start pulling this one in while we're here. Because this one is nice and neat, and they do find this page while they are making their way through the Redwood Forest as well. This is one of the pages that I don't think has been looked at, by the way, either. Some people have looked at it, but nobody's really... Well, it's been decoded, but nobody has understood exactly what it means, basically. Wolf Doge, I don't know what to ask. Wolf Doge, you've had a million questions about this campaign. You have a million lore theories going on. You don't have any questions to ask me about anything? Are you sure? I am offering lore, and people are just sitting here. Oh, that's funny. Ugh. I'm pointing out what hasn't been solved yet, what hasn't been answered. You know, some things that could get answers. Now I'm drawing blanks. Oh, God. Yeah, 1, 2, and there's just one more. So yeah, there's three more pages left that we've got. I'm just gonna get all of these out as is, and I'll go over each one as we run into them, basically. Yeah, we're gonna get to see all the ones that are unanswered right now, actually. We're gonna get a lot of stuff that's unanswered right now on view for you guys. Cause yeah, these ones are the weird ones that haven't been thought about, really. And then let's go here. I am also gonna change the music as we move into the new content as well, for recaps and whatnot. So give me 1 second once I get these loaded in. Alrighty. And the only reason, by the way, why I'm not like, I'm showing the page numbers by showing you the titles. Everybody already knows the page numbers. Everybody's been able to figure those out. Those are something I'm not worried about. Really, in all honesty, with the book right now, everything that I am worried about is more if you guys are understanding what I mean when I'm showing you stuff. Which I know that there is some pretty decent understanding. It's just, you know, some people need to take a look deeper at what each one means and what each one's got on it. Because yeah, everybody's already decoded my language, or the Thurendi language, I should say. Alrighty, there we go. Just some of these pages haven't actually been decoded, so, you know, page numbers I'm fine with having be showed to you guys, whenever I'm loading these stuffs in. Yep. And that's right. Technically, the order of these goes like this. I will not answer what the pages mean. I can answer questions in particular about the pages, but I can't answer exactly what the pages mean. I can tell you that they have very significant lore importance. I can tell you that the pages are supposed to tell you things and answer a lot of questions, and are supposed to help you figure out a lot of the weird knowledge of this place, and some of the weird things that are going on within this place. Yeah, no. Let's see here. So, yeah. I actually should have probably... Yeah, no. Okay, so. Within the... yeah, actually, I forgot. I also want to change the music. I wanted to change the music. Wolf Doges, I'm gonna tweak out over here. Alrighty. Music has changed. Let me know again, by the way, if the music is too loud or too quiet or whatnot. But yeah, no. So the group heads in to the Shroomling village, and they find a spot that is off of the map that they have been following, which goes under the Shroomling village, which is basically this bigger zone of the village. And as they head into there, they basically are fighting with a few of the locals until they basically are able to make some minor peace with them under the only statement that they must go help the big guy, whatever that means. They head into the Colosseum because the Shroomling people are a very warrior-based race. And within the Colosseum, they get challenged by the only other English-speaking creature within this place, the Shroom King, and basically are told that you caused all this problems, pointing at Goatman, and that he was going to set some things right, basically. Goatman and the group fights the Shroom King, which is the big giant mushroom guy that they fight in the Colosseum. As I'm dying over here. I'm dying. Send help. My nose has finally caught up to me. As they're fighting with the Shroom King and basically getting him down and, you know, beating some sense into him, out of nowhere, a flash from the silver door at the back of the Colosseum. Again, another mention of the silver door that nobody has questioned. A flash from the silver door occurs, and they see an arm reaching out from the silver door. Again, nobody questioning the silver doors, basically. Which then basically, from the doors jumps this giant, or this, not this giant, this beast of, Snow White, not Snow White. What the? It's white fur, but my brain is bad at describing right now. As I'm trying to say words. Yeah, of this, like, whitish gray, like, mottled, fur, which then jumps out and stabs this ornate spear into the head of, the Shroom King, quote unquote, killing him instantly. He doesn't get killed, he just gets knocked out here, but that's the important, funny part. The fight then shifts to fighting the Winds of Change, the Beast of Change, basically. The Beast of Change is the old friend of Goatman, Belarus, which Belarus is basically a spear-wielding, also soldier of the past, and when they finally do beat Belarus, and by the way, while they're fighting Belarus gives this very intensive speech that I also would like to mention no one has questioned. Let me see if I can go pull it up. It has been a while since I have written it and put it in here. Let's see if I can pull it up. Yeah. Zubadubadoo. God, I love how many different things I've put in here. In my notes chat that I keep with myself. Yes. He says this, while they're fighting him. Speak your words, O Great One, so that I may listen. Sing your song we love so dearly. Don't you hear it, your illness? It covers our ears in your old song. It blinds us with guidance of your will. It covers our tongue, our hands, our nose with the will of your future. Sing, sing it again. Sing for us all. I spent plenty of time in my cocoon for this moment, to change our fate, just as you said, old friend. Come, great butterfly, let's spread your wings so that we may ride your song into the change you imagine. Why do you hide from us? Why do you refuse our perfection? Why do you stay in your cocoon, oh sweet butterfly? Why won't you drink from the nectar of the glorious flowers you planted for us? I'll make you drink. If you won't walk, I'll parade your corpse through the halls, and if you won't crawl, we will dance throughout the new horizon of your future. Come, friend, our change beckons you. Let's fly on those wings into this future you wrought. By the way, the beast sprouts wings by the end of the fight, which is a wonderful addition to this guy, making him an absolute beast. As I'm dying. Yeah, Belarus gets a very short end of the stick in this story, to put it simply. God, I am dying right now. Why he a butterfly? Metaphors. Metaphors, my friend, metaphors. Very important metaphors. God, I need to drink some water. This is what happens when I stay up too late. Yeah, so, as the beast falls, or as Belarus falls, Lillian gets another new memory, which seems to, by the way, take place after the conversation with Marissa. And it's filled with a lot of self-doubt from Goat Boy as he goes to meet with Belarus, which they seem to have a very tenuous relationship, at least from what the memory is kind of supposed to imply. As he greets Belarus, and the giant, the young giant of a shroom, which, by the way, nobody has called out exactly who that is, but you should know who the young giant is. Belarus kind of shows off as a sort of cocky guy, and we get introduced to the names of, or we also get introduced to the name of Farron. Farron is somebody else who's important in this memory that nobody has mentioned, and I will say the quote that you guys get introduced to him. You never show up to this place, Belarus says, with a sigh that hangs in the air. The shroomlings gather around but keep their distance as he speaks. So you must be here for something important, gathering the group for some important plan or whatever you and Farron can't handle yourself. Farron is very important as well. Nobody's questioned Farron. Who the hell is Farron? Nobody's gonna mention Farron. But yeah, Belarus is basically painted to be a little bit of a jackass, and kind of a bit of an asshole to Goat Boy, because he didn't really ask for this stuff to occur, and there's been some angst that have occurred because he feels like he's been given the short end of the stick by having to basically lead these people and basically do all this work, when in all honesty he kind of thought this was going to be a simple life. And you know, he also doesn't like the fact that he's been getting a little sick and seeing some of his friends struggling to handle the change that has occurred. Again, all lore that is very, very important to all of these characters. In fact, Belarus even says, "We're all sick and twisted and gonna die soon." Yeah, I figured, basically. The main important part of this is when Goat Boy gets Belarus's shell to crack, by basically mentioning that it's more than just, you know, how everybody's sick and, you know, falling apart, basically. Belarus kind of softens a little bit and, you know, basically is like, oh shit, what the fuck is happening? And, you know, the mention of the time illness or the sickening decay that time seems to have on all of them gets brought up. Wherein Goat Boy in the past mentions the statement of fragmenting, sickening, and paralyzing. Again, the rule of threes. But this is before the rule of threes has seemed to have been implemented within Goat Boy's mind. Nobody's called it out. Nobody's called it out. So, Belarus then asks Goat Boy what his plans are. And Goat Boy basically says that his plans are to chase the powers of old and to rewrite time itself. Which Belarus reasonably laughs at, thinking he's gone crazy. Saying that, you know, did Farron tell you that you can wish yourself to godhood or something? And Goat Boy basically says that, yeah, actually, basically, if shit goes well, that something within the same vein can occur. Of course, Belarus calls him crazy. And then further says that, you know, you can't fix us, and shifting us, or shifting the group has made everybody basically start dying. But, you know, despite all this, it's still worth the shot to try and fix everybody if there's even the slightest chance. And he also questions when Belarus also questions when he ever wanted things to work out for him. And we get a little peek into his knowledge by the call out from Goat Boy, which is that when you said yes to becoming Thurundi, Belarus, that's when I knew that you wanted things to work out for you. And Goat Boy also helps by stating that he knows this will work out. Again, giving that sort of promise that things are going to work out. He's not exactly sure how, but he's going to. We also get a few other names that are important. Or we get another name that's important with Selene and Alva, I believe, are mentioned in this one. Yeah, Selene is mentioned during the angry portion, in which Goat Boy is yelling and basically saying, why aren't you more relaxed like Selene for once? And then towards this segment where, you know, they're kind of reminiscing with each other and getting on each other's good side again for the final time, he mentions that Alva was just a wreck with what's been informed to all of them. Farron also is mentioned to have regretted every bit of math that he found within this solution. Oh yeah, Selene's also mentioned, again here, as barely being able to hold her gift. Belarus just asks how bad it is, and then asks what the plan is. And we are informed that Goat Boy intends to perform some form of grand sacrifice to keep himself alive, or to keep you all, or to keep them all alive, not himself, to keep the rest alive. Sorry, bad wording. And he intends to give them all the thing that he couldn't achieve himself, and hopefully someday, after all of this has happened, return to them all, hopefully to see everybody living happily. Belarus finally gives them the smile and friendship that, you know, was kind of lost between them. You know, they kind of make up, give a hug, you know, a friendship. And Belaris basically says that, yeah, change is scary, he's still adjusting, but he will be the man that he wants, that Goat Boy wants him to be. He then also asks if Selene and Gerard, again, Gerard, another new name that everybody has not looked into, are going to finish the village, and are mentioned that Selene and Gerard's kids are going to help fill the town and take care of things while Goat Boy is gone. We then also get another new name of Samuel. Again, so many characters nobody has mentioned, nobody has looked into, nobody has questioned this memory. It needs to be questioned. It is the biggest lore drop of a memory. Nobody questions it. You know, the ceremony is then set to begin, and Belaris kind of is like, when's it gonna happen? Tonight. And then Belaris is like, I'm sorry, what? Tonight? There's not gonna be no grand banquet and no time to send you off? And then Goat Boy basically says, this is the send-off, Belaris. I'm sorry, it can't be more sentimental. They kind of laugh and joke for a little bit. And then Goat Boy leaves him with the spear that Belaris used, and basically says that Belaris, you need to protect all of them. You need to protect everyone around, you know, not just here, but within the entirety of the underground. And he asks, and Belaris just asks that Goat Boy makes everyone proud, and that he says that he'll do as you ask just this once, you know, just that final little bit of spite before the end of their friendship, basically. I finally look back at the chat after reading all this shit. Everybody's blowing up like, what? Yeah, no, nobody read into that one. Nobody read into that one. Nobody has looked into this one. Well, not just you, Wolf Doge, like, the players haven't looked into it either. None of the viewers have looked into it. Nobody, I've heard no theories. Hey, Black Bear is here. Black Bear is here. And I'm sure that, you know, they have it. Everybody has it. Dude, you guys have had it for a while. Everybody has had access to this one for a while. It is literally in the Discord, in the pinned comments, or in the pinned messages, as a thing that everybody has had access to. So yeah, no. Anyways, yeah. It's in the Discord. I'm not gonna send it to anybody, especially because it's a giant message. It's in the Discord though. But yeah, no. With that, they basically then talk to the Shroom King, who helped finish off Belaris's demonic form. And then are able to convince him to make some peace with the Thrundi village up in the village in the plains, and then make their way into the burrowed mines, of which, as they learn from some of the village people, is this closed off section within the cave that has basically been closed off due to a rampaging crystal colossus cough, 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 that I wish I was able to run today. I'm going to say that very angrily right now, just because of that. Yeah, no. They basically run, or they make their way into the burrowed mines, and you know, they hear some rampaging down below. They decide to head up to the top and find a blockaded off path into the burrowed mines, just off to the side over here, which they believe leads to the outside based off some of the lights that they could find cracking through. And they find the map of the burrowed mines, and all the stuff that comes with that. Speaking of which, let me see it right here. Yeah. I shouldn't have put that one in there yet, but yeah. This is the burrowed mines map. They are currently right here, as you can tell. They made it to here. They came in from here. When they tried to go down into this area, they heard some rampaging noises from down below, and basically decided for safety they are going to head up to here first. And they saw a sort of elevator here, or a wooden platform in the roof here. Looking at this, they're able to tell that it was some sort of elevator, but they can't seem to get the elevator to come down to them. And they've also found a few switches in the in those two, no, in this spot and this spot. Sorry, that one has not been gotten to yet, I don't believe. Yeah, I don't believe it has. Yeah, that one hasn't been gotten to yet, I don't believe so. It might have been, but I'm not sure. It might have been. I would have to check my my list of things that they've done. Anyways, they find the levers, and as they pull them, they hear some loud cranking mechanisms throughout the mines that seem to do something. They haven't figured out what yet. But yeah, there's some loud noises that come whenever they pull the levers that do something. And they haven't been able to see what's up in, or they haven't seen what informs these maps yet. But yeah, that's basically where we left off with the campaign in terms of what has been done. The plans for the future are to head into this lower segment of the mines, right into here, and go challenge the rampaging beast below. Yeah, I guess the other two things that haven't been mentioned on the table right now. I should really need to make sure that I put these back in the correct order. Which, this is the reason why I haven't done the book this way. We don't question what amalgamation just occurred. There we go, that goes there. That goes there. That goes there. This goes here. This goes here. There we go. So during their trip back up to the village prior to coming into the mines, they're able to use the Spear's abilities to basically find these two pages within the mines. Or within the village, basically. They find this one in the alchemist's, within the alchemist's alcove that's kind of held off from the rest of the building. And again, nobody is questioning these pages. These pages have not been looked at all. These pages are very important. And this one was found under some bramble vines, meaning it's been pseudo-accessible for a bit, but yeah, This one was found under some bramble vines, and has a very weird additive to this, by the way, where the back page is an entirely different color than the others. Again, another thing where I'm like, nobody has questioned these pages. Why are these this way, you know? Question mark, question mark, question mark. Anyways. Yeah. So that at least ends the recap portion of this. I'm gonna move into a bit of some meta related stuff here. What with, I'm going to kind of spread all of these out real quick. What with what we're doing here. Yeah, so this is the book as sits currently, with what has been found, and what is available to the party. Yeah. And I need to move stuff a bit. And now that I have it in this way where I can kind of browse through all the pages as physical items, it's neat. I don't want that to go into a hand. Yeah, you know what? I'll just put this one... How do I have too much stuff on this table. There we go. That's the best way I'm going to get it on here. Yeah, so this is what the book looks like to everybody so far in terms of what they have. Front and back of each of these collected pages is, of course, you know, accessible within the shared stuff as part of this campaign. I'm going to actually move this over so that it sits a little bit cleaner. Yeah, so some meta stuff about the campaign, real quick. I'm going to be honest, I did not expect the language to get uncovered as early as it did. I kind of was hoping the language was going to be this thing that I got to hold silent into my chest for like half the campaign. But these like 3 or 4 pages or something like that basically told the entire language to everybody. And people have been able to figure that out since then. Another thing that I would like to point out, the gold Morse that's on everything, is very important. Some people have been slacking on it. I do also want to add that the gold Morse isn't going to just be simple Morse puzzles the entire time, or me trying to hide the Morse amongst some certain things. There is a reason it's there. Additionally, the other one that I know that some people are looking at is the silver Morse. Those ones are also very important. I will not explain why either. Again, very much important. Really, the most important pages in the book, period, are these ones. These ones right here are the most important pages in the book, right now. Understanding what they mean is huge. Nobody has looked into any of them. Nobody has tried to extrapolate anything from them. The additive to this, I would also like to add, these pages are important, but they relate to these 2 pages. These 2 pages right here, and their relation with these 3 right here is very important. If you're able to, if you can start putting the pieces together, especially with knowledge of what has been given from the memories, you're going to be able to find some pretty interesting stuff about the characters way in advance. Especially these 2, seeing as these 2 have been basically now spoiled for you guys, with the access of the book. You just don't know who they are yet. And that's the fun part, is you don't know who they are yet. I will also mention the additive to this that I'd like to add The page number on this one is 90. The page number on this is page 94 and 95. The page number on this one is 56 and 57. The page number on this one is 40 and 41. There is a giant gap between this one and this one. Do with that info as you will. That info is very important as well. So yeah, do with that as you will. It's huge. Especially because 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then 14, 15, 20, 21, 22, 23, 28, 29, 36, 37, 40 and 41, 56 and 57, and then it jumps to 94. So, yeah, that's huge. That should tell you about how big the book is going to be and how much of the story is still open. Another meta thing that I know some people have been probably questioning me on is why I asked for the group to stop leveling for a bit while they were heading through the Burrowed Mines. I want to kind of mention these games are very much built up as they go. Tabletop games are very much built up as they go. The story is kind of worked on as it goes. I know the entire storyline of this campaign right now. What I wasn't sure of is how many enemies I was going to put in certain places. I will let you guys know that I will say we are about 25% of the way through story, at least in terms of things with area that needs to be covered. Or not in terms of things that area that needs to be covered. That's a bad way to put it. We're 25% of the way through the story, at least, in about how the story is going to play out. With the coming of this next boss will be when that 25% hits, basically. What I'd like to say of the map area that has been covered, I want to say relatively about 40% of the map has been covered, which to some people is a bit of a shock. Yeah, 40% of the map has been uncovered right now is what I'd like to say. Main reason being is some of the later areas in this game get much, much, much smaller. There are only, I'd like to say, 2 really big sized areas left in the campaign. One of which is the Dark Chasm, which is the biggest area in the campaign in my, to what I know. And then the other one is, the next area that they're going to go into, basically. The Dark Chasm and where they're going to be heading into next are the two areas that really rival Redwood Forest and the Plains in terms of size. Every other segment beyond that is going to be smaller. Within the range of about 60 to 100 rooms, which is really small in terms of the way that this campaign has been running. For your information, the Plains, I think, is about... It's almost about 1,000 rooms, if I remember correctly, if I were to go off of sheer size scale. So, the sizing of this is huge in comparison to what the sizing of some of the other areas are going to be. And a lot of the other areas are much more compact and stuff. So, I basically just took the statement that, look, I want the players to be falling relatively with levels being related to how much of the map that they have explored. So, with the expectation that this campaign ends at around about level 80, the thought process is that they are going to take they're going to take steps to reach towards that. But the end goal is going to be that right now, where they're about 40% of the way through the levels and at about 40% of the map covered, I don't want them to be leveling right now, because I feel like it's going to not enrich in the end game experience, basically. And that's my main point is by giving them some stagnation right now, it'll help the later parts of the game work better. And it also keeps some scaling in bounds for people. So, yeah. In terms of questions, yeah, this is now where I kind of open the floor to chat to just start asking me things. I'm very much open to just any amount of whatever wants to be asked about right now, because I'm keeping these books or these pages out because I'm betting there's some questions that are wanted to be asked about the pages. There's some stuff that's wanted to be known about the pages. There's some stuff about lore that I can answer. Questions, at least in terms of what has been mentioned today. That's what I will say. Otherwise, there isn't anything else new that I'm going to answer. It's just I will probably paint some new pictures for things that have been there and, give some better resolves of some things that have been put forth that, I think hasn't been fully stated if people want that, I guess. In a way that doesn't, obviously tell you guys everything. But this is the one time where I'm going to let Wolf Doge basically ask me almost any question and give the best answer I can without giving too much of an answer, basically. Or anybody else who has questions towards lore or anything else. So yeah, no. Feel free to ask away. I will be here for a little bit, just enjoying the moment. I'm gonna take a drink of water while I wait for any question to come in. Also, we love the art that has been occurring around the table like non-stop. I'm not allowed to I'm not allowed to do anything to this table without mentioning the amount of art that has gone into it. Like, we're almost to the point where I need to give more art space to the table. Like, there's that much stuff here. Womp womp. Whoop-dee-doo. Yeah, no. Also, by the way, we all need to go thank Tem recently. She has been insane with keeping this series running right now. Tem has been doing a lot of the art recently. Luna has taken a step back for a bit of a mental refresh and break from the series, which is why she hasn't been here recently, not much. Tem has kind of been taking over on the art. As I die again. Yeah, Tem has been taking over on the art recently and has been doing really freaking well with it. Everybody go check her out, give her support. Her commissions are open. She's in the Discord and she's got stuff in my description. Go reach out to her. She's wonderful. She's an amazing person. We love Tem. She has done amazing stuff for this campaign. Same with Luna. Same with Dead Moth, by the way, but, bothering Dead Moth because of MDOD right now may not be the best decision. Just, yeah. Go support the artists. They are amazing. We love them. They've done wonderful things for this campaign. This campaign would not be where it is right now if it weren't for our artists. And, any art involved with MDOT is also very much appreciated. I love fan art from, you know, the community, and would love to show some more, or would love to show some of it off in the future. I just, you know, I don't get fan art. I don't get fan art. Whoop-de-doo. Oh my god. My nose is trying to kill me right now. Look, I stayed up until 5 a.m. my time last night working on the music, which is why my nose is doing annoying things to me right now. Yeah. No. God, I'm actually surprised. I'm like, there's no questions, nothing from anybody. I mean, if there is no questions, I am going to end the discussion, you know. I wanted to give people some answers to some things. I wanted to let people, you know, get their responses that they need from me. Since I know, like, you know, this series has a lot of stuff that's in the air right now that I know some people are like, what the frick is going on? Ugh. Whoop-dee-doo. Whoop-dee-doo. Oh, by the way, I should mention, I know it's a bit awkward. Yes, I am the artist behind the pages. I did the page artwork. I don't know if that affects anything, but, yes, I did the page artwork. I know my art sucks. But I did the artwork for this, or for all of these, to basically, you know, keep the lore, as I'm the person who should be doing these. The artist of these pages IRL does not matter. The artist of the pages within the game does matter. That I will say. You should know who it is, but I'm not sure if you do. I personally think you should know who it is. But, yeah. That's my thought process towards it, at least. Yeah, I guess I can go over the pages at least a little bit. At least from what some people have understood. Actually, you know what? That kind of is explaining a bit too much of the meaning of them. I'll let you guys figure that out. I will flip these over a little bit just for right now, just to let us see the backs of the pages, since we haven't seen the backs of the pages in a bit. Because the backs also do matter, and they are just as important for people to look at and question and, you know, surmise what they might mean. As we let the music just kind of do as it's gonna do. Yeah, I'm a little bit shocked that Wolf Doge isn't being like, question, 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 question. I mean, I could answer the question of Farron question mark. Farron is a character. You haven't learned much about him just yet. The rule of three. The rule of three is a comment towards the statements of how Goat Boy seems to talk in sets of threes at all times. Every time Goat Boy talks now, in current day, he basically talks, he talks 3 times the lengths that he needs to, by saying 3 of the same, or 3 of relatively the same meaning words, basically. They're a dead civilization, that's up in the air. The Thurendi, I wouldn't say they're a dead civilization, in all honesty. A dead civilization implies that they aren't currently alive. And the Thrundi are very much currently alive. The Thrundi and the Thrundi village are very much currently alive, as we know. What has brought them into being is what is currently dead about their civilization, I guess. Oh my god, my nose. As we know, the Thrundi are the civilization that lives in this cave. For those of you unaware, they live in this little village right here. As I flip everything back over, yeah, they live in this village right here. This wonderful mess that they have built for themselves. Who's Samuel? Samuel, is a character akin to Farron. You will figure that out eventually. But do note that he is probably as close to and as important as Farron is. Really? Okay, so here's the thing. The major characters of this campaign are all very important for their own separate reasons. In terms of lore writing, probably the most important characters for everybody to keep their eyes on are Goat Boy, obviously, Farron, Farron. Samuel is not super important, but he is very important, and like I said, he is important as Farron is, but like, he's important to the structure that Goat Boy and his group has. To the lore, he ends up kind of being quiet, but in terms of what he means, he's hyper important. Marissa is up there on the list, and then there is a currently unnamed character that is hyper important to the lore that everybody needs to keep their eyes on when she gets mentioned. And I will, yes, reveal that it is a she. My balance of the men and women of this campaign is very interesting, I will say. But it is, each one of them is very important. The original 13 are all hyper important for their own reasons. With one of the original 13 obviously being Goat Boy, and then the other of the original 13 are the characters that you guys are learning about through the memories as well. And figuring out what each one of them means. Hyper important. Like, really matters to the state of the campaign. Okay, come on, guys. I like how I'm just getting, like, crickets in chat. Crickets. Ah, as I almost choked myself over here. Yeah, alrighty. Well, if nobody has, let's see here. Yeah. Nah, if nobody else has any questions towards, the lore, I will be calling it a stream here. This was very much an interesting, stream for me to do. Music will be getting posted for the music that I have playing right now. This is also the other reason why I wanted to do this, is so that I could just, you know, use the music so that while I'm on the upcoming Thanksgiving break, I don't have to not have that occur. Whoop-de-doo. Whoop-de-doo, whoop-de-doo, whoop-de-doo. Yeah, no. Since I know the two members of the chat that are still in here, Blackbear, Wolf Doge, seriously, any questions, any at all, you are given your answers. You're given your opportunity to have as many answers as you'd like right now. You're given your opportunity to get an answer to question that I may not even ever give anywhere else. Anything at all. Anything at all. Or did I put people to sleep by rambling about lore for too long? Because, God, that would be just my luck, is that the two people in chat that are here for the Q&A fell asleep. Yeah, we love having niche internet micro chaotic things going on. Alrighty. Well then, if that is the case, then what do you do? Like, I feel like here's the thing. When I set up this is why I don't like setting up Q&As, because you need a lot of people to show up for them. It's okay. I will say there is some info that I have put on the table, at least, well, with the recap. Any questions towards that will be answered within the Discord in the future, if necessary. However, my willingness to answer some stuff will go down, obviously, whenever I'm not doing this type of stream, because, you know, this stream is basically built for me to give you guys any answers you want. Without giving you too many answers, obviously. Yeah, no. I guess thank you guys all so much for watching. It's been a wonderful little stream. We did have quite a intense discussion section of everything that's gone on in the campaign so far. I am personally pretty happy with some of the things that have been covered. I think the campaign has a lot of very interesting moments still to come for everybody. And a lot of lore that pertains to MDOD and, you know, this world and everything that I'm covering and, you know, what this story is all about. God, that is... You guys have found 11 pages so far. Ain't that nice? Whoop-dee-doo. But yeah, no. Also, I'm gonna smallen these. Yeah, no. I'm just gonna make this a little addition that sits right over there. Yeah, Wolfdo's gonna rewatch the stream and then ping me with 100+ questions. That's perfectly fine. In all honesty, I wish you had any gut-related questions right now. I'll take them, I'll answer them. But if no off-the-cuff questions are given, thank you guys all so much for watching. I'm going to see you guys all in the next one, where hopefully the next stream that we do of MDOD is getting to watch this giant man do some wonderful carnage and destruction, and be the Dark Souls boss that I know he can be. Yeah. Anyways. It's okay. It's okay. Thank you guys all so much for watching. See y'all in the next one. Have a good one, everybody.